live here is the whole issue that we all have to deal with beginning to take wonderful things for granted. And I noticed that the end of last year, you had been staying with us for I think 2 years, maybe 2.5.
2.5.
And we had never really sat down and talked about what the plan was going to be. And it was kind of starting to go on and on and on, longer than I think any one of us expected, because we were just, going in real time. So I noticed that the longer it went on, with a less of a clear end to it, that you began to really fall away from some of our prior arrangements. One of the things that we had agreed upon was that you could stay here without paying any rent or pay for food or anything, and you just agreed to do everything you could to help around the house. And just to say too, I didn't mention before, but you're an amazing help around the house. But as you began to kind of like just take it for granted, you began to really slough off a lot on your duties around the house. And not only that, but you began to get, I'm sorry to say, a little sloppy about some things. Like you wouldn't take your clothes out of the washing machine. You wouldn't clean after yourself, like with the microwave. And we would have to like start cleaning up after you. And I noticed that you were beginning to take it for granted. And I had to ask myself the same thing. Am I even taking myself here for granted in terms of having this beautiful place to live? So not only did it make me realize that it happened to you, but I decided to look at it as a lesson for myself where I was taking things for granted in my life. So I appreciated that life lesson. So we needed to have a talk about that, which was really difficult. And we realized that we needed to put an end to it, and that for your own development, you needed to perhaps experience living on your own, and that we would certainly be a big part of your life and continue to help you in any ways we could. But we started to notice that maybe we were inhibiting your growth to the next step. So you decided to live in Kingston for the summer. And as you began to live there and do your own shopping and cooking and cleaning, little by little, you regained your understanding of what a great situation that we all had here. And you came to visit after that, and you were a completely different person again. You were really back to yourself. And so the hard lesson turned into be a great lesson, because we all grew from it, and we're better people as a result of having gone through that little bumpy period.
At that time, I've been really busy, and I've been taking so many classes at the same time, and I've been involved in college activities, so I think that at some point I just forgot how to prioritize my activities and duties, and I turned to be like very lousy in the family side, which I'm very sorry about. But then I'm back now, and I'm myself, but the only one thing I want to mention, that I really never took anything as granted, because I feel like being in this family, being in this country, it's such a great opportunity. Thank you. What do you like the most and the least about my stay?
The most is that there's somebody here all the time, and we feel comfortable of having you in charge when we're not here. And the worst is not being able to walk around in my underwear for 3 years.
Okay. How crazy do you think I am on a level from 1 to 10?
Well, I think that all artists are, they need to be outside of the box. And so I don't really like to use that word crazy. I think...
but just give me some number from 1 to 10.
Well, define crazy.
To define is to limit. Come on. Just give me a number.
Okay, I will put you at a 7.
7. Okay. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Gulnar. What a great opportunity.
32.
Thank you, Bob. You have 4 sons, and did I make you ever feel like you have an adopted daughter, and did you feel responsible at some level?
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's how we looked at you at a certain point, as part of our household, as the daughter we didn't have, and it's fine.
But we do, worry about you sometimes in terms of the danger of walking down the road to go to school and staying at school late. And, we know boys, and we know how some American boys can be. So we feel protective of you in that way while you're at the college. But we know you're strong and courageous and can take care of yourself.
Thank you. Are you happy with your decision to host me for the second time after I moved out and I came back?
Well,
Yeah, because she came back in a new, improved version.
yes.
Yeah. So I think like most, whether it was our kids, any American kid, any family member who goes out, then comes back, I think they come back with a different perspective on where they came from, and what they had. And that's, people say that about their own kids. So yeah, go ahead and leave, and when they come back, they say, oh, well, it wasn't so bad when we had, when I was living here. So, and I think that helped you to grow as a person, and coming back now, it's like with
A renewed sense of
a
appreciation.
renewed sense of you appreciating and us appreciating you for who you are now. So yeah, it was definitely a good thing that you did that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I just want to add that you were supposed to live somewhere else, and one day that you were supposed to move in there, I got a call from you, and you were saying, "I'm outside, Joe, and I'm all bitten with fleas." And I was like, "Oh my God, what can I do to help?" And I was so happy that you called. And I thought you were outside the other house, but when I walked out my door, you were outside already in my driveway. And I was so happy to see you there, even though you were terribly flea bitten. But you and I both know that the universe works in mysterious ways. And it became really clear that you really weren't supposed to leave so soon. So I knew it was the universe bringing us back together again, which always feels good.
Thank you.
Like a bad penny.
Always returning.
If we go back in time, will you change anything about this quite a unique experience that we are having?
I think it happened and it flowed exactly as it was supposed to be.
It wasn't a plan. I don't think you could have planned it. So if you go back and try to undo and fix it, it worked because it came from the heart and it worked.
It came from the heart. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So I don't think you could go back and plan. If you planned this, it wouldn't work.
Right. Yeah, we let the universe plan it.
Thank you. Hi, Eileen.
Hi, Gulnar.
So I have several questions for you. So you were in the car with Joe first time she picked me up. What was your reaction when Joe stopped the car to help me?
My reaction was, nope, don't stop this car. How do we know who this person is? Maybe, it's a serial killer for all we know. But I do know that Joe, when she sees somebody who looks like to her is in need, she's going to pull over and assess the situation first. So I just, gave in and said, okay. And I think I stayed in the car when she went out and talked to you. And I just watched the whole thing because I was making sure everything was okay.
Yes, I remember only seeing Joe outside the car.
Yes.
Okay, next question. What you thought when Joe said that they have invited an international student, me, to live in their house for some long term, like duration of my studies?
I was not surprised because I've seen Joe and Bosper be helpful to other young people in this community to kind of give them just a little break and to allow them to take the next step. And I see them not thinking that they, can do a better job than anyone's family. I see them being open, to just seeing that there needs to be a little space for somebody. They give it, and they just can detach with love.
What you thought when Joe and Bob told you that they have invited an international student to live in their house for some long term?
I was very interested in meeting whoever it was. I had heard the story of how you met, that Joe had been driving and saw you walking down the road and picked you up and then invited you here. So I was really interested and anxious to meet you and see, see what you were like and see what it was going to be about.
Yeah, I knew that it would be an interesting story, and I had also heard about the pickup in Rosendale, and truthfully, it doesn't surprise me about Joe and Bob that that from that pickup that you would be living here for many, many years. It just seems to be.
Many, many years. Would you consider hosting an international student for a shorter time?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I don't think I would. But I don't think that I'm a little bit more cautious than Joe and Bob. Not that I wouldn't want to be helpful, and not that I haven't fully enjoyed meeting you, Gulnar. And, you know, I think I've been so impressed that you came here not knowing any English, and that trip was 26 hours or something, like, outrageous, and that you arrived in a strange country and you were so determined, you know, that you know, were able to find yourself in room 32 in Rosendale. It's just amazing to me. But no, I think that I'm a little not as adventurous as Joe and Vosper.
Would you consider